Welcome to Daily Global Motivation, the space where personal growth is no longer treated as something optional or dependent on fleeting emotional states, but as a disciplined way of living that demands structure, clarity, and an honest confrontation with the habits and systems that quietly shape your future whether you are paying attention or not. This is where transformation stops being a fantasy fueled by motivation and starts becoming a process anchored in repeatable actions that move you forward even on days when your energy is low, your confidence is shaken, and your mind is searching for reasons to delay. Today's message is about the simple system that helps you achieve any goal faster. Not because it promises shortcuts or instant success, but because it removes chaos from your daily life and replaces it with intentional structure that compounds effort over time. If you have ever felt stuck despite trying hard, restarting repeatedly despite strong intentions, or exhausted without seeing progress, it is not because you lack potential, but because your effort has not been supported by a system strong enough to carry you consistently. Before we continue, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share this message with someone who is tired of relying on motivation and is finally ready to build something real. Because what follows is meant to challenge the way you think about growth, discipline, and success at the deepest level. Most people believe that achieving goals faster requires more effort, more pressure, and more intensity. But this belief is exactly what keeps them trapped in cycles of burnout, inconsistency, and frustration that slowly erode their confidence and self-trust. The truth is that effort without structure scatters energy, causing you to work hard without moving forward, to stay busy without becoming effective, and to exhaust yourself without building momentum. A system changes this by giving your effort direction, rhythm, and purpose, ensuring that every action you take is aligned with your goal instead of competing with it. When your actions are aligned, you stop wasting mental energy on constant decision-making because the system has already defined what needs to be done regardless of how you feel that day. This removal of daily negotiation is powerful because hesitation is where doubt grows, and doubt is where progress slows to a halt. When hesitation disappears, execution becomes smoother, more focused, and less emotionally charged, allowing you to move forward with clarity instead of urgency. Over time, this clarity compounds into momentum, and momentum becomes the silent force that accelerates your growth without requiring you to push harder or sacrifice your well-being. The simple system behind rapid personal growth always begins by shifting your attention away from distant outcomes and redirecting it toward daily actions that are fully within your control, because outcomes are influenced by external variables while actions are always available to you regardless of circumstances. When you fixate on outcomes, pressure builds, impatience grows, and frustration starts poisoning your effort before results even have time to appear. But when you focus on actions, progress, that becomes predictable rather than emotional, allowing you to measure success by consistency instead of immediate reward. This predictability calms the nervous system, reduces anxiety, and creates a sense of control that strengthens your ability to stay disciplined over long periods of time. As your discipline stabilizes, the quality of your effort improves because you are no longer rushing or forcing progress out for fear that you are falling behind. High-quality effort compounds faster than chaotic intensity, even if the daily actions feel small or unimpressive at first. This is why systems reward patience, because patience allows time to amplify effort into results that feel inevitable rather than forced. A well-designed system also eliminates the internal conflict between who you want to become and who your current habits are supporting, because systems align behavior with identity through repetition, rather than willpower. Willpower is unreliable because it depends on mood, energy, and emotional stability, all of which fluctuate constantly throughout life. A system does not ask you how you feel before guiding your behavior, because it is built to function regardless of emotional conditions. When behavior is guided consistently, habits form naturally, and habits reduce resistance by making action feel familiar, rather than threatening. As resistance decreases, consistency increases, and consistency builds momentum that carries you forward even on days when motivation would normally fail you. This is the moment when progress begins to feel natural instead of forced, and when quitting starts to feel unnatural rather than tempting. At this stage, personal growth stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like a way of life. The reason systems help you achieve goals faster is because they eliminate wasted energy, wasted focus, and wasted emotional struggle, allowing every ounce of effort to move in the same direction instead of pulling against itself. Most people slow their own progress by scattering attention across too many ideas, reacting emotionally to setbacks, and constantly questioning whether they are doing enough, which drains momentum before it has a chance to build. A system narrows focus, and narrowed focus accelerates learning by allowing you to improve the same actions repeatedly instead of starting over in new directions. As learning accelerates, skill sharpens, and sharpened skill builds confidence rooted in evidence rather than emotion. This confidence strengthens commitment, because you begin trusting the process instead of doubting yourself. Commitment sustains consistency, and consistency compounds, results in ways that feel almost invisible at first but become undeniable over time. This chain reaction does not depend on motivation or luck, but on structure. And once structure is in place, progress continues even when you are tired, distracted, or uncertain. One of the most important shifts that occurs when you commit to building a system instead of chasing motivation is that you stop relying on emotional peaks to move your life forward and begin trusting a process that works even when everything inside you feels uncertain, resistant, or tired. This shift alone changes the entire psychology of achievement, because motivation is temporary by nature, rising and falling based on mood, environment, and circumstance, while a system remains steady regardless of internal fluctuations. When you depend on motivation, you are essentially placing your future in the hands of feelings that were never meant to lead your life, which explains why progress often collapses the moment enthusiasm fades. A system removes this vulnerability by anchoring your actions to structure rather than emotion, ensuring that forward movement continues even on the days when your mind tries to convince you to stop, delay, or give up entirely. This consistency builds a form of quiet confidence, not the loud confidence that comes from excitement, but the grounded confidence that comes from knowing you are showing up whether you feel like it or not. Over time, this confidence reshapes how you see yourself, because you begin identifying as someone who follows through instead of someone who starts strong and fades. This identity shift is subtle but powerful, because once you see yourself as consistent, your behavior naturally aligns with that belief. The system becomes less about forcing discipline and more about reinforcing who you are becoming. And when identity and behavior align, progress accelerates without friction, stress, or constant self-criticism. A powerful system also protects you from burnout by regulating intensity and preventing the emotional overinvestment that causes so many people to crash just when momentum begins to form. Burnout is rarely caused by hard work alone, but by chaotic effort fueled by pressure, urgency, and the belief that you must constantly push harder to prove your worth or catch up to some imagined timeline. A system removes this pressure by breaking big goals into repeatable daily actions that feel manageable, sustainable, and realistic even during demanding periods of life. When effort feels manageable, your nervous system stays calm, and calmness allows endurance, which is far more valuable than intensity. Over the long term, endurance outlasts excitement, outperforms talent, and quietly builds results that do not collapse under stress. This is why people with systems often appear steady rather than frantic, because their progress is not driven by fear of falling behind, but by commitment to a process they trust. Trust in the process reduces anxiety, and reduced anxiety improves focus, clarity, and decision-making. As decision-making improves, fewer mistakes are made, momentum is protected, and growth becomes smoother rather than volatile. Over time, this emotional stability becomes one of your greatest advantages, allowing you to grow without sacrificing your mental health or sense of balance. Another reason systems accelerate personal growth is that they eliminate perfectionism by replacing vague expectations with clear standards for daily completion, which removes the mental paralysis that comes from trying to do everything perfectly. Perfectionism often disguises itself as high standards, but in reality it is fear wearing a mask. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of not being enough. A system cuts through this fear by defining what done looks like each day, making progress measurable through action rather than emotional satisfaction. When done is clear, action becomes easier because you are no longer waiting for ideal conditions or perfect confidence to begin. This clarity encourages movement, and movement builds momentum even when results are not immediately visible. Momentum weakens doubt, because doubt thrives in stillness and hesitation. As momentum builds, confidence grows, organically, rooted in evidence rather than positive thinking. This evidence-based confidence is durable because it is supported by repeated action instead of fragile emotion. Over time, perfectionism loses its grip because consistency proves that progress matters more than flawlessness. And once perfectionism fades, speed naturally increases because nothing is holding you back from taking the next step. A system also teaches you patience, which is one of the most underrated skills in personal growth, because patience allows time to become an ally rather than an enemy. Most people underestimate how long meaningful change takes, and this impatience leads them to abandon effective processes simply because results are not immediate. A system reframes progress by shifting your attention from short-term rewards to long-term accumulation, helping you understand that small actions repeated daily create exponential change over time. This understanding reduces frustration because you stop expecting instant transformation and start respecting gradual improvement. When frustration decreases, emotional reactions soften, and you become less likely to quit in moments of disappointment. This emotional resilience is critical because every meaningful goal includes periods where effort feels disconnected from reward. A system carries you through these periods by providing structure when belief wavers. Structure replaces hope with execution, and execution keeps progress alive even when enthusiasm fades. Over time, patience strengthens discipline, discipline stabilizes effort, and stable effort compounds into results that feel almost inevitable. This inevitability is what makes systems so powerful, because they remove the constant fear of failure and replace it with quiet certainty. Ultimately, the simple system that helps you achieve any goal faster works because it transforms growth from an emotional struggle into a practical process that runs consistently in the background of your life. You stop asking yourself whether you feel ready, motivated, or confident enough to act, because the system has already decided that action is non-negotiable. This removes internal debate, which is one of the biggest drains of mental energy and focus. When debate disappears, clarity emerges, and clarity allows you to move forward without constantly second-guessing yourself. As forward movement becomes habitual, confidence strengthens naturally, because you are no longer relying on belief to create action, but on action to create belief. This reversal is powerful because it grounds your confidence in reality rather than imagination. Over time, your system becomes part of who you are, not something you have to consciously maintain. Growth stops feeling like a project and starts feeling like a lifestyle. And when growth becomes a lifestyle, goals are no longer something you chase desperately, but something you reach steadily, deliberately, and with far less resistance than you ever thought possible. One of the most transformative realizations that emerges when you commit fully to a system-driven approach to personal growth is the understanding that your environment is either reinforcing your progress or quietly sabotaging it every single day, because human behavior is shaped far more by surroundings than by intention alone. When your environment is cluttered with distractions, temptations, and signals that pull you away from your priorities, even the strongest motivation will eventually collapse under constant resistance. A well-designed system accounts for this by intentionally shaping your environment so that the right actions become easier, more obvious, and more automatic than the wrong ones. This means structuring your space, your schedule, and your routines in a way that reduces friction for productive behavior while increasing friction for habits that drain your energy and delay your goals. When the environment supports your system, discipline no longer feels like a constant battle, because you are no longer relying on sheer willpower to fight against your surroundings. Instead, your surroundings begin working with you, guiding your behavior gently but consistently toward the outcomes you want to achieve. This alignment between environment and intention creates a powerful sense of flow, where progress feels smoother and less forced. Over time, this flow compounds into momentum that carries you forward even during periods of stress or uncertainty. The system becomes embedded not just in your actions, but in the very spaces you occupy and the rhythms of your daily life. And when your environment reflects your goals, growth stops being something you have to remember to pursue and becomes something you naturally live inside. Another critical advantage of a system is that it transforms failure from a source of emotional collapse into a source of useful information, allowing you to adapt and improve without losing momentum or confidence. When people rely on motivation, failure feels personal, heavy and discouraging, often triggering shame, self-criticism, and the urge to quit entirely. A system reframes failure as feedback, because the focus is no longer on whether you succeeded or failed, but on whether the system worked as intended. If progress slows or results fall short, the question becomes what needs adjustment in the process rather than what is wrong with you as a person. This shift is profound, because it removes the emotional weight from setbacks and replaces it with curiosity and problem solving. Curiosity keeps you engaged, while shame pushes you into avoidance. A system encourages experimentation, refinement, and iteration, which are the true drivers of mastery in any area of life. Each adjustment strengthens the system, making it more resilient and better suited to your reality. Over time, this resilience builds confidence, because you learn that no single mistake has the power to derail your progress completely. Growth becomes flexible rather than fragile, and that flexibility allows you to move forward with far less fear of getting it wrong. Systems also accelerate achievement by clarifying priorities and eliminating the constant mental noise that comes from trying to do everything at once. Because focus is the currency of progress and scattered focus produces scattered results. Without a system, it is easy to confuse busyness with effectiveness, filling your days with activity that feels productive but does not meaningfully move you closer to your goals. A system forces you to define what truly matters and to align your daily actions with those priorities, cutting away distractions that drain time and energy without providing real value. This clarity reduces overwhelm, because you are no longer trying to pursue multiple directions simultaneously. When overwhelm decreases, mental energy becomes available for deeper work, learning, and creativity. Deep work accelerates skill development, and skill development accelerates confidence and competence. As competence grows, you begin trusting your ability to handle challenges rather than fearing them. Trust reinforces commitment to the system, because you see tangible evidence that focused effort produces results. Over time, focus becomes a habit rather than a struggle, and your system protects that focus even when external demands increase. This protection is what allows long-term goals to survive in a world filled with constant distraction. A system also reshapes your relationship with time by teaching you to think in terms of accumulation, rather than immediate payoff, which is essential for achieving meaningful goals faster without falling into impatience or despair. Most people underestimate how much can be achieved through small, consistent actions repeated over long periods, and this underestimation leads them to abandon effective strategies too early. A system counters this tendency by making progress visible through tracking, reflection, and routine review, helping you see evidence of growth even when results are still forming beneath the surface. This visibility builds trust in the process, and trust reduces the urge to chase shortcuts or compare yourself to others. When comparison fades, focus deepens, and when focus deepens, effort becomes more effective. The system creates a sense of forward motion that is calm rather than frantic, steady rather than desperate. This steadiness allows you to pace yourself intelligently, avoiding both burnout and stagnation. Over time, patience becomes a strength rather than a weakness, because you understand that speed comes from consistency, not from rushing. The system teaches you to respect the timeline of growth instead of fighting it. And when you respect that timeline, progress unfolds with far less resistance and far greater sustainability. At its deepest level, a system changes not just what you do, but who you believe yourself to be, because identity is shaped by repeated action far more than by intention or desire. Each time you follow your system, you cast a vote for the type of person you are becoming, reinforcing an identity rooted in discipline, reliability, and self-trust. This identity shift is gradual but powerful because it removes the you need to constantly motivate yourself through force or inspiration. You stop trying to become disciplined and start seeing yourself as someone who simply follows through. This self-image influences every decision you make, making aligned choices feel natural and misaligned choices feel uncomfortable. Over time, the system becomes an extension of your identity rather than a tool you have to consciously manage. Growth becomes automatic, embedded in how you live rather than something you have to chase. This is why systems create lasting transformation while motivation creates temporary change. When your identity supports your goals, progress no longer depends on effort alone. It becomes the natural outcome of who you are and how you live each day. As you move deeper into a system-driven approach to personal growth, you begin to realize that one of its greatest strengths lies in how it removes emotional decision-making from moments when clarity matters most. Because emotions are powerful but unreliable guides when you are trying to build something meaningful over time. When people rely on how they feel to decide whether to act, their progress becomes unstable, rising and falling with mood, stress, confidence, or external circumstances that are often completely outside their control. A system interrupts this instability by creating predetermined rules for action, rules that operate regardless of excitement, fear, boredom, or doubt. This is critical because the mind is exceptionally skilled at justifying an action when discomfort appears, often disguising avoidance as logic, self-care, or strategic delay. When a system is in place, those justifications lose their power because action is no longer a debate but an expectation. This expectation creates psychological safety because you no longer need to question yourself constantly or worry about whether you are doing enough. The system becomes a steady guide, reducing internal friction and mental fatigue. As friction decreases, consistency increases, and consistency is what turns effort into results. Over time, this emotional neutrality toward action becomes a strength, allowing you to move forward calmly even when challenges arise. Progress stops feeling dramatic and starts feeling dependable. And dependable progress is far more powerful than emotional bursts of effort that collapse under pressure. A system also sharpens your ability to recover quickly from setbacks, which is one of the most important skills for achieving goals faster, because no meaningful pursuit unfolds without obstacles, mistakes, or periods of stagnation. Without a system, setbacks often trigger emotional spirals, self-doubt, and the urge to abandon the goal entirely. As if one misstep negates all previous effort, a system reframes these moments by treating them as temporary deviations rather than permanent failures, allowing you to return to productive action without excessive emotional baggage. This rapid recovery is essential because speed in personal growth is not about avoiding setbacks, but about minimizing the time you spend stuck inside them. When your system is clear, you always know what the next step is, even after something goes wrong. This clarity prevents paralysis and keeps momentum alive. Momentum, once interrupted for too long, is difficult to rebuild, but a system protects it by providing continuity. Continuity strengthens confidence, because you learn that progress does not require perfection, only persistence. Over time, this persistence becomes a defining trait of your character. You stop fearing setbacks because you trust your ability to recover. And when fear of failure diminishes, you take bolder, more decisive action. Another powerful way systems accelerate achievement is by creating boundaries that protect your time, energy, and attention, which are the most limited and valuable resources you have. Without boundaries, goals are constantly interrupted by distractions, obligations, and demands that feel urgent but do not contribute to what truly matters. A system forces you to define what deserves your focus and what does not, making it easier to say no without guilt or confusion. This intentional use of boundaries prevents dilution of effort, because you are no longer trying to make progress in short, fragmented bursts between endless interruptions. When your attention is protected, the quality of your work increases dramatically. Higher quality work produces better results with less wasted effort. This efficiency is what allows systems to create faster progress without requiring longer hours or extreme sacrifice. Over time, you begin to experience a sense of control over your schedule rather than feeling constantly reactive. This control reduces stress and increases satisfaction, because your days begin to reflect your priorities instead of everyone else's expectations. As your system reinforces these boundaries, your life becomes more aligned with your goals, and alignment is one of the greatest accelerators of meaningful success. A system also helps you navigate periods of uncertainty when results are unclear and confidence is tested, by giving you something stable to rely on when belief wavers. Every long-term goal includes phases where effort does not immediately translate into visible progress, and these phases are where most people quit out of frustration or set out. The system carries you through these valleys by providing structure when motivation is low and reassurance when results are delayed. Instead of asking whether what you are doing is working, the system asks whether you are following the process. This shift reduces anxiety because you stop evaluating yourself based on outcomes you cannot fully control. When anxiety decreases, mental clarity improves, allowing you to stay focused rather than reactive. Focus sustains effort, and sustained effort eventually produces results, even if the timing is uncertain. Over time, this trust in the process deepens, because you experience firsthand that consistency eventually pays off. This trust makes you resilient, because you no longer panic when progress feels slow. You understand that growth often happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible, and this understanding keeps you moving forward when others give up. Ultimately, a system changes the way you experience personal growth by turning it into a continuous, integrated part of your life rather than a separate project that requires constant motivation and attention. You stop viewing growth as something you need to work on and start living in a way that naturally produces improvement as a byproduct of your daily structure. This integration reduces resistance, because growth no longer feels like an extra burden added on top of an already busy life. Instead, it becomes embedded in how you organize your time, make decisions, and respond to challenges. As a result, progress feels more sustainable and less exhausting. You begin to notice that even during difficult seasons, you are still moving forward in small but meaningful ways. These small gains accumulate quietly, strengthening your skills, confidence, and identity over time. Eventually, you reach a point where growth feels inevitable rather than uncertain. This inevitability is the true power of a system, because it removes the constant question of whether you will succeed. You know that as long as you continue following the process, progress will continue unfolding. And when that certainty takes hold, achieving your goals becomes not a matter of if, but when. As your system becomes more deeply ingrained in your daily life, you begin to notice a fundamental shift in how you relate to effort itself. Because effort is no longer something you brace yourself for emotionally, but something you engage with calmly, deliberately, and without unnecessary resistance. Before a system, effort often felt heavy, draining, and emotionally charged because it was tied to expectations, pressure, and the fear of not doing enough. A system untangles effort from emotion by giving it a clear container, allowing you to focus on execution rather than constantly evaluating your performance or worth. This shift is powerful, because when effort is no longer personalized, failure loses its sting and success loses its arrogance. You simply do the work, observe the results, and adjust the process as needed. This neutral relationship with effort keeps you grounded and focused, even when challenges arise. Over time, effort becomes familiar rather than intimidating, and familiarity dissolves fear. When fear dissolves, action becomes smoother and more consistent. Consistent action compounds progress quietly. Quiet progress builds confidence without noise or validation. And confidence built this way is stable, because it is rooted in behavior rather than emotion. A system also teaches you how to pace yourself intelligently, which is one of the most overlooked aspects of achieving goals faster without sacrificing your well-being or long-term sustainability. Many people burn out not because they lack discipline, but because they apply it unevenly, pushing too hard in bursts and then collapsing under exhaustion or disappointment. A system regulates this pattern by spreading effort evenly across time, ensuring that progress continues steadily rather than violently. This steadiness allows your body, mind, and emotions to adapt gradually to higher levels of responsibility and challenge. When adaptation is gradual, resilience grows naturally. Resilience allows you to handle setbacks without losing direction. Direction keeps effort aligned. Aligned effort produces cleaner results with less wasted energy. Over time, this intelligent pacing makes growth feel lighter, not because the work is easier, but because your system supports you instead of fighting you. You stop feeling like you are constantly catching up or falling behind. Instead, you feel anchored in a process you trust, and when trust replaces urgency, progress accelerates without strain. Another profound impact of a system is how it reshapes your relationship with discipline, transforming it from something you force into something you respect and eventually embody. Discipline often carries a negative connotation because people associate it with punishment, restriction, or deprivation. But a system reframes discipline as self-respect in action. When you follow your system, you are not denying yourself pleasure or comfort arbitrarily, but choosing alignment with your long-term values over short-term impulses. This choice builds integrity because your actions begin matching your intentions consistently. Integrity strengthens self-trust. Self-trust reduces internal conflict. Reduced conflict frees mental energy. Freed mental energy enhances focus and creativity. As creativity increases, you find more effective ways to solve problems and navigate obstacles. Over time, discipline stops feeling like control and starts feeling like freedom. Freedom from indecision, freedom from self-sabotage, freedom from constantly starting over. This is when discipline becomes a quiet source of power rather than a constant struggle. A system also changes how you measure success, shifting your focus from dramatic milestones to meaningful consistency, which keeps you engaged and motivated over long periods without emotional volatility. When success is defined only by big wins, long stretches of effort feel unrewarding, leading to frustration and doubt. The system counters this by making daily completion a form of success, allowing you to experience progress regularly even when outcomes are still forming. This daily sense of accomplishment reinforces positive behavior and strengthens commitment to the process. As commitment deepens, quitting becomes less appealing because you no longer feel disconnected from your progress. You can see it, feel it, and trust it. This trust stabilizes your emotional state, making it easier to stay focused during periods of uncertainty or slow growth. Over time, this steady reinforcement builds a deep sense of satisfaction because you know you are honoring your commitments regardless of external recognition. Satisfaction reduces the need for comparison because your progress feels personal and meaningful. When comparison fades, clarity increases, and clarity allows you to move forward with confidence rather than doubt. In the end, the simple system that helps you achieve any goal faster works not because it promises immediate results, but because it creates a structure where progress becomes unavoidable if you continue showing up. It removes reliance on motivation, protects you from burnout, sharpens your focus, and aligns your actions with the person you are becoming. Over time, the system becomes invisible, operating quietly in the background of your life while your skills, confidence, and results continue to grow. You stop chasing goals desperately and start reaching them steadily. Growth becomes less about force and more about flow. Flow makes effort sustainable. Sustainable effort compounds into mastery. Mastery strengthens identity. Identity reinforces behavior. Behavior sustains the system. This cycle feeds itself, creating momentum that no longer depends on emotional highs or external validation. When you reach this point, success feels less like an achievement and more like a natural outcome of how you live. And that is the true power of building the right system for personal growth and development. As you continue living inside a system rather than chasing motivation, you begin to notice a profound change in how you respond to pressure, because pressure no longer feels like a threat to your stability, but like a signal that your system is being tested and refined for a higher level of responsibility. Before structure, pressure often triggered panic, overthinking, and impulsive decisions driven by fear of failure, or the desire to escape discomfort as quickly as possible. A system changes this response by giving you something solid to return to when emotions rise, reminding you that you do not need to react dramatically because the process remains intact. This grounded response allows you to stay present instead of spiraling into worst-case scenarios that drain energy without producing solutions. When pressure appears, the system asks you to follow the next step rather than analyze the entire future at once. This simplicity keeps your mind focused on what you can control rather than overwhelmed by what you cannot. Over time, this calm engagement with pressure builds mental toughness, because you learn that difficulty does not require chaos. Mental toughness strengthens confidence. Confidence reduces hesitation. Reduced hesitation keeps momentum alive. Momentum sustains progress even when challenges intensify. And progress under pressure is one of the clearest signs that a system is working. A system also reshapes your relationship with discipline by removing the need to constantly prove yourself through extreme effort, because true discipline is not about intensity but about reliability over time. Many people equate discipline with pushing harder than everyone else, sacrificing endlessly, and wearing exhaustion like a badge of honor. But this mindset often leads to collapse rather than mastery. A system reframes discipline as consistency supported by intelligent structure, allowing you to give your best without destroying your balance. When discipline is guided by a system, you stop oscillating between overworking and giving up because effort is distributed evenly rather than dumped into emotional bursts. This even distribution allows recovery, reflection, and adjustment, all of which are essential for long-term growth. As your body and mind recover properly, your capacity expands naturally. Expanded capacity allows you to handle more complexity without losing focus. This steady expansion is far more powerful than sudden spikes in effort. Over time, discipline becomes less about control and more about trust in your process. You trust that showing up consistently is enough. That trust removes the urge to self-sabotage, and when self-sabotage fades, progress accelerates quietly but relentlessly. Another subtle yet powerful effect of a system is how it changes your internal dialogue, because repeated aligned action begins to replace doubt-driven thoughts with evidence-based confidence that no amount of positive thinking alone could ever create. When you follow your system day after day, your mind starts recognizing patterns of follow-through, resilience, and reliability, and those patterns gradually rewrite the stories you tell yourself about who you are. Instead of hearing an inner voice that questions your ability or warns you to stop, you begin hearing a quieter but steadier voice that reminds you of how far you have come and how consistently you have shown up. This shift is not dramatic, but it is transformative because it removes the constant need for reassurance from outside sources. You stop looking for motivation in videos, conversations, or validation because your own behavior has become your proof. Proof strengthens belief. Belief reinforces commitment. Commitment sustains consistency. Consistency deepens identity. Identity shapes decisions automatically. When decisions align effortlessly with your goals, progress feels less like effort and more like direction. This internal alignment is one of the greatest accelerators of growth, and it is built not through emotion, but through systems. A system also protects your long-term vision by keeping you anchored during periods of distraction, temptation, or unexpected change, because life will always introduce variables that try to pull you away from your priorities. Without structure, these variables easily derail progress, convincing you that it is acceptable to pause indefinitely or abandon your goal altogether. A system creates a default path that you return to after disruptions, preventing temporary setbacks from turning into permanent detours. This ability to return quickly is what separates people who eventually succeed from those who stay stuck in cycles of restarting. Restarting feels productive, but it often masks avoidance of sustained commitment. A system removes the need to restart by emphasizing continuation over perfection. When you miss a step, the system does not collapse, it simply resumes. This resilience keeps your long-term vision alive, even when daily execution is imperfect. Over time, you learn that progress does not require flawless adherence, only consistent return. This understanding reduces guilt and shame, which are major obstacles to sustained effort. Reduced guilt frees energy. Freed energy strengthens focus. Focus keeps the system running, and a running system continues producing results regardless of temporary disruptions. Ultimately, living within a system teaches you that achieving goals faster is not about compressing time aggressively, but about removing the inefficiencies that slow most people down without them realizing it. Inefficiency often comes from emotional decision-making, scattered focus, perfectionism, and the constant need to feel motivated before acting. A system strips these inefficiencies away, leaving behind a clear, repeatable path that moves forward steadily. This steadiness may feel slow at first, especially in a world obsessed with instant gratification, but over time it reveals itself as the fastest route to meaningful achievement. While others burn energy chasing excitement or reacting to setbacks, your system keeps working quietly, accumulating progress in the background. This accumulation is what eventually creates breakthroughs that appear sudden to outsiders but feel earned and expected to you. You stop being surprised by your own success because it aligns with the work you have been doing all along. Success becomes less emotional and more logical. Logic creates calm. Calm sustains focus. Focus feeds the system, and the system, once fully integrated into your life, becomes the engine that drives your personal growth forward with clarity, resilience, and undeniable momentum. At this final stage of understanding, it becomes clear that the greatest power of a system is not just that it helps you achieve goals faster, but that it fundamentally changes how you experience life, effort, and self-belief, because you are no longer reacting to circumstances but operating from intention. When you live without a system, life feels reactive, unpredictable, and emotionally exhausting, as if you were constantly responding to problems instead of building towards something meaningful. A system reverses this dynamic by giving you a stable internal framework that remains intact regardless of external noise, pressure, or uncertainty. This stability creates a sense of grounded confidence, because you know that no No matter what happens today, tomorrow, or next week, your process will still be there to guide you forward. Over time, this removes the background anxiety that comes from feeling directionless or behind, replacing it with a calm certainty that progress is unfolding even when it feels slow. This certainty is powerful because it frees mental energy that was once consumed by worry, comparison, and doubt. Freed mental energy sharpens focus and deepens presence. Presence improves the quality of your decisions. Better decisions strengthen outcomes. Stronger outcomes reinforce trust in yourself. And trust in yourself is one of the greatest accelerators of meaningful success. As your system continues working quietly in the background of your life, you begin to realize that discipline is no longer something you struggle to summon, but something that naturally emerges from the structure you have built around your priorities. You stop forcing yourself to act and start moving, almost automatically, in the direction of your goals, because your environment, routines, and expectations are all aligned with what you are trying to achieve. This alignment reduces internal resistance, which is one of the biggest hidden costs of inconsistent effort. When resistance fades, effort feels lighter even if the work itself has not changed. This lightness allows you to sustain progress over longer periods without feeling drained or resentful. Over time, this sustained effort compounds into mastery, because mastery is not created through rare moments of brilliance but through ordinary actions performed consistently over time. As mastery grows, confidence becomes quiet and unshakable, no longer dependent on praise or validation. This internal confidence changes how you approach challenges, because you stop questioning whether you are capable and start focusing on how to solve the problem in front of you. Problems become puzzles instead of threats. Puzzles invite curiosity rather than fear. Curiosity keeps you engaged. Engagement fuels persistence. And persistence is what ultimately separates those who achieve their goals from those who abandon them. At this point, it becomes obvious that the speed created by a system is not the frantic speed of rushing or forcing outcomes, but the steady speed of alignment, where every part of your life is moving in the same direction without unnecessary friction. This kind of speed feels calm, controlled, and sustainable because it is built on repetition rather than urgency. While others exhaust themselves chasing motivation, comparing timelines, or reacting emotionally to setbacks, you continue moving forward through structure and consistency. This contrast grows over time until the gap between system-driven progress and motivation-driven effort becomes undeniable. What once felt like slow progress begins to reveal itself as exponential growth because consistency allows results to stack quietly beneath the surface. Eventually, those results surface in ways that feel almost inevitable. When success arrives through a system, it does not shock you or overwhelm you because you have been living in alignment with it all along. You recognize it as the natural outcome of your daily structure. This recognition creates humility rather than arrogance, because you understand that success was built, not granted. Built success lasts longer. Lasting success creates stability. Stability allows expansion. Expansion opens new possibilities, and those possibilities become the next chapter your system will support. In the end, personal growth and development are not about chasing inspiration, forcing change, or trying to become someone else overnight, but about building a simple system that allows your best self to emerge gradually through consistent action. When you have a system, you no longer depend on how you feel to decide how you act. You act based on who you are becoming. This shift is everything, because identity-driven action is far more powerful than emotion-driven effort. Over time, your system becomes an extension of your values, your goals, and your vision for your life. Growth stops feeling like a task you must remember to work on and starts feeling like the natural byproduct of how you live each day. This is what makes personal development sustainable rather than exhausting. You are no longer pushing against yourself, you are moving with yourself. And when your actions, identity, and structure are aligned, progress becomes unavoidable. This inevitability removes fear. Fearless action deepens commitment. Commitment strengthens consistency. Consistency compounds results. And those results reflect the life you intentionally built rather than accidentally fell into. So now the question is not whether systems work, because you have seen that they do, but whether you are willing to commit to building and honoring one even when it feels boring, slow, or unrewarding at first, because that is where transformation truly begins. Every meaningful change requires patience before it produces proof, and systems reward those who are willing to trust the process long enough for results to catch up. If you take nothing else from this message, remember this: motivation will come and go, emotions will rise and fall, and circumstances will change, but a system will remain if you choose to maintain it. And as long as your system remains, progress will continue. If this message helped you see your goals, your effort, or yourself differently, make sure you subscribe to Daily Global Motivation, because this channel exists to help you build discipline, clarity, and mental strength that lasts. Like this video to support the mission. Comment below with the commitment you are making to your own growth. and share this message with someone who needs structure more than inspiration right now. Your future is not built by what you hope for, it is built by what you repeat. Build the system, stay consistent, and let your growth speak for itself.